Hello. And now continuing the narration, the final chapter by Eddie Marcus. The September 14th issue of Insight News reported an article on poverty activist says he's ready to go to jail for the cause, written by Eric Harmon. Having read that article and talking with citizens about the man's activities, a variety of questions arose, such as, what is Mr. Marcus' real motivation and intent? What is his answer to the problems he so clearly articulates? My research reveals since that time, Mr. Marcus has gone to court twice with Miss Philip Frederick of St. Paul, Minnesota Neighborhood Justice Center as his legal representative. Each time, the court offered a bargain for him to plead guilty, make restitutions, and do some community service. Each time he declined. Such a plea does not address nor offer the occasion to address the issue of economic injustice, says Mr. Marcus. Justice demands not only then that an illegal act is committed, but consideration of motivation and intent also. It is not concerned only with punishment, but the need for policy reevaluation as well, says Mr. Marcus. Mr. Marcus feels he is on a divine mission, a mission confirmed during his youth by an act as miraculous as the burning bush of Moses' day. In so doing, God proved his power and ability, his love, kindness, and mercy. In 1978, the spirit of God's love for mankind caused Mr. Marcus to discontinue working for the Veterans Administration in Chicago and learn the secrets of life that would free those in economic bondage. This learning experience created in him the vision for Paradise on Earth Unlimited. To share the vision, he traveled to several foreign countries, a host of arrests, 2 runs for write-in U.S. president, 2 runs for governor, state of Minnesota. And St. Paul dealt with the administrators Clinton, Bush, Reagan, 3 Congresses, United Nations, many Fortune 500 companies, legislators, churches, service organizations, and celebrities. Not one felt our economic problems were fixable and refused to go beyond any measures that they already exercised. Confirmation of his commitment is seen as he constantly puts his freedom on the line, as he did by doing crime in 91 to make the people hoping they would stop the Gulf War. The people stayed asleep. The government put him in jail and sent America's children into battle with an injection of chemical poisoning, as we learned the other day, said Mr. Marcus. I'm not on trial here. Rather, America and Minnesota's economic system. Americans and Minnesotans are on trial. The economic system has been judged a failure, as indicated by the crowding of jails and prisons everywhere, a fact known by every social scientist, politician, lawyers, and economist in the country. However, the jury is still out on the people. My crime is an expression of God's love for you. Do you say change or crucify him? Your enemy wants you to crucify me and keep you in bondage. Who do you help? Your enemy or yourselves? By waking up. Together, we do this change. Next subject, you shall know the truth and be free. When I think about it, I guess it all falls in place. I am, one of the chosen, one of the ones to bring peace and prosperity as a gift from heaven to all mankind. God gave me a spirit of a child through choosing a mother of the tender age of 13 to conceive me. He prepared me with wisdom through my great-grandparents who were my guardians. And at the age of 14 years, I was made aware of God's presence while at work one day, chopping cotton in the old South. A paralyzing fear overcame me. And after several seconds, I came to myself and wondering what had happened. I began to continue my work. This time the fear was a get the hell out of here quick type of fear. And I did, running and screaming. When I got far enough to feel safe, I stopped running. Puzzled, I cautiously returned to my original working place. Upon a fast observation of the area, I noticed a cottonmouth moccasin snake. I had taken another move at the original time of fear. I would have been bitten between the legs. Whew! One demonstration after another of God's love. As a child, I was taught from the Bible that the way people conduct their business on earth is not the way our Creator from heaven would have it done. In fact, the earthly way is called evil and devilish because it's selfish. I went to college, studied social science, preparing to fix our social problems. Having grown up in poverty, after college, I wanted to make some money and spend it. So I had fun doing it till one day I couldn't do it or take it any longer. I had seen the deals made, the games played, and I chose not to watch you, the public, being had any longer. I saw the world for what we are. I chose to step away from it, to teach mankind Jesus' way of social development. Heaven has shown me a vision of paradise and how to attain it. I had seen the evils of the system, believe it or not. Now I was seen and sent on a crusade to learn that American Christians were on the path to hell. With so much information, I recognized that poverty was on the one hand and the greatest indication of mass selfishness on the other. It shows man's fear of vulnerability. Knowing man's hope and its commonality, I set out to kindle the most beautiful world imaginable. It needs the support of the people. So over the past 22 years, I begged presidents and congresses and governors and legislators and churches and United Nations, your heroes and sheroes, the stars, the rich, the poor, each in the name of God, each in the name of love, each in the name of justice, each in the name of mercy and paradise, to cooperate and let us do what the charities, what the shelters, what the welfare and trickle-down economics cannot do. Let us make the world beautiful. Let us get rid of crime and violence. I commit crime to awake you. You put me in jail for disturbing your sleep. The people of this country are on trial. Choose ye this day whom you will serve. Rejoice. This is a time when everyone should rejoice. Whether you have had a good life or a rough time, there is no time like now. Now is the beginning of change. Now is the time when our God has prepared for all of us to experience what it is like when exercising His principles of living in our lives. I am the voice of such good news. I am Eddie Marcus, spokesman for Paradise on Earth. Our God has prepared for me well and has prepared me well for this mission. He revealed His nature and power to me, directed me to become a social scientist, directed me into the wilderness for 22 years, that I might learn all I need to know about the evils of this society and world. I bring the idea whose time has come. I must admit it. It was most difficult to commit a criminal act in order to create a platform to do this wonderful work until heaven reminded me that regardless of the good I do, I will never be any better than Jesus, who was murdered for being good. Thus, being good or evil is not the issue. In this case, I was reminded that whether I committed the act or not, justice demands not only that an illegal act is committed, but consideration as well for the motivation and intent of the actor. In so doing, justice may direct punishment to the actor, or justice may require reevaluation of the legal policy prompting the action. I come before you, the jury, confident that victory will side with justice and exonerate me of such charges, that I may freely proclaim the freedom our God has for us from oppression of the American socio-economic systems. This mission ends poverty and introduces prosperity to all of God's children and sinners alike. I stand before you as Rosa Parks did when she declared she was a child of God with equal rights of any other person, and you agreed. I stand with the abolitionists of slavery, knowing that you too oppose it. I stand with the blacks and their cause and the right to vote, knowing that your support is present. I stand with the Jews against the Holocaust, with Africa against apartheid, with India against the British rule, as I am sure you all would like to be recognized as supported. I stand for the crucifixion of all the evil systems of America that destroys the beautiful things of life God has prepared for us all. You must know that America's economic systems, its monetary policies, and free market system is only a scheme, an evil spirit implemented by folk who have no knowledge of God's plan of love and joy for all our lives. Such folk are not evil, but they are not to be obeyed by any child of God. God has made it clear that there is a creator, and it isn't man. Everything necessary for paradise on earth is here, including my voice. It is God's will that everyone has a career of choice, unlimited, unrestricted health care, and education, more time socializing than working. No bills, strong, solid families, no crime and violence related to economics. Man, when this message is made public, 2 billion Christians will support it. Don't be afraid. Dream builders. Someone please tell me, why would a government, a system, a people, or even my people want anyone to follow a law or system of laws that devastates another people, or give blind allegiance to a people who has no compassion for the other? Who is responsible? Only where the law is clear about violations and punishment to them if caught. A people who openly exhibit an affront to other persons and have brought slavery on such people, denied them the right to vote, or engaged in public functions, or used public accommodation, who have played major roles in developing ghettos throughout the nation, brought drugs into the communities and houses a great percentage of others in jails and prisons for violating laws set up to protect the criminals from their victims, while causing others to become criminals. Such people sit silently by while their enforcement arm kills whomever it chooses, as it did with the young lady killed by cops in New York while she sat in the car sleeping, or the young man arrested and beaten who had a broom handle forced up his rectum, or their justified beating of Rodney King. Such people take pleasure through the guise of business in exploiting the folk, driving many a city's citizens to a life of crime, while they in turn ship them off to jail, the same as selling them off into slavery. Just as wrong. In the state of Minnesota, the injustice is so rampant that the state, through the news media, openly bragged that the percentage of minorities in jails and prisons compared to whites were like 10 or more to 1 for similar type crimes. To that, the minorities had a meeting. I don't like it either. But I expect that evil people will be evil. What confuses me more, is that when Dr. King spoke out against poverty and was later killed, everyone seemed to sit on their fanny and sought the crumbs falling from the tables of one life dedicated to do right. And good enough. There's as much poverty in this country as ever. To this end, I became poor, started working for minimum wage, identified the causes and consequences of poverty, found the solutions, and am speaking. I am on trial for committing a crime which is directly a consequence of poverty. Poverty is not just an individual's problem, but a major social problem as well, flexible only by its mother, the people. Poverty also produces ghettos, joblessness, homelessness, suicides, gangs, single parents, abortions, drug abuse, family abuse, etc., just to name a few. The truth is, God, who made us all, provided for us everything needed for us to experience paradise on earth. No one is to promote a system which creates poverty, nor is anyone to accept it, if such is tried. Now take that to the bank. How can a people punish what they themselves created? They must possess a demon, and jails and prisons are an extension of their plans to continue exploiting the innocent. I can only go to the jail if the people have a demon. The people have a demon, no doubt, yet I am doing what heaven wants us all to do. You, whose demon won't let you help, sit back and watch the power of Jesus for the glory of God. By the power of love, I come to share with America. Wow. This is the end for this portion